Peace and blessings, family. Welcome to the first episode of 2023.
That's good.
So, before we get started, I would like to invite you to first take a deep breath to ground yourself into this moment. So, please join me in taking this collective breath. We're going to breathe in from our diaphragm, which when you're breathing in, your air should be filling your belly so that you take in a full breath. Okay? So let's do it together. Breathe in. Thank you for joining me in that. And before we get started, I would just like to introduce you to what this video is going to be about.
Exactly.
We're going to be talking about various topics such as the importance of 2023 and what this year represents.
Yeah.
Living in harmony with the cycles of nature.
The major shifts that's taking place in the year 2023, and even the numerology of the 7th year, things like that, the rise of AI.
Yeah,
Connecting back to nature. So without further ado, I'm Mystique. I'm here with
Christine,
and welcome to our podcast.
Yeah, so let's get started by talking about this season, right? It's likely that if you're watching this video, you're watching this at the beginning of the year in January 2023. And according to the Gregorian calendar, which is the calendar in which the Western world is operating by, we are in a new year. But if we take a look at nature, how could a new year begin in this season where everything is dying?
Dead. Everything is dead.
Right. So we bring this up to say that there's been so many ways in which we've been programmed and taught that is so far against our true nature and Mother Earth, right? So yes, it may be a new year according to this calendar, but the new year doesn't really start until the springtime. And this is really important because it can affect you psychologically for you to think that you have to go and do and be and rush and create and do all these things because you're in this new year, when nature is really actually teaching us to rest.
Exactly.
To go inward, to hibernate, to cultivate. And this season is actually a very feminine season. It's a very softening season, a season to go into the womb of creation, right?
Yeah.
The darkness. Even when we take a look at what's happening in nature at this time, the nights are longer, right? The darker period of the day is longer, right?
Yeah, that starts around 5, 6 o'clock in the Eastern hemisphere.
Right. So this is all teaching us about nature, our nature, right?
Exactly.
And it's important to follow that so that we're not working against our own cycle. An example I wanted to give with this, many of you may not even know this, especially if you're a gentleman, but as a woman, we go through different menstrual periods, right? Every month. Men go through a menstrual period too. You may not have a physical menstrual,
Exactly.
but we are all still living in alignment with cycles because nature and life is all about life, regeneration, rebirth, and death. This is just the nature of our reality. So I bring that up to say that there are certain points in the month where our energy, it may not be at the highest because it is a time to go inward. Our body is releasing. And then there's time where our energy is full of energy and it's a great time to act, right? And so this is a great point to reference what's actually happening in nature right now, because the winter season is a time to rest, is a time to hibernate, is a time to go within. So yeah, let's talk about the numerology of the year that we're in, right? We're in 2023.
Yeah, so everything you shared just now is in alignment with even the energy of the year, which is 7. And how do we get to that? Numerology, if you add 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 3, you'll get the number 7. And 7 is really about going inward. Everything you speak about is really connecting back to self, connecting back to the earth, going back to the darkness. And the fun fact is that Pluto, we call it the planet of destruction, the lord of the underworld, is actually moving into Aquarius And this have not happened since the 18th century. And that's a powerful shift that is taking place, as we're going through the death, the rebirth, going back into the darkness, which brings a lot of transformation. All right. So, and that goes back to, I want to bring it back to even the year 2020 to the year 2022, which we went through so much things. We had a pandemic, we had this going on,
Great
this turn up, the
awakening.
Great Awakening, right? For me, like that was the great reset that happened as a collective. And, we went through so much as an individual, but also as a collective. It was so much darkness.
Yeah,
I know I
we
was
went
in
through the shadows.
I was in my darkest phase in my spiritual journey, like the darkest phase, right? And I feel like in that I was able to plant a lot of seeds. And then now, we're here in the year 2023, which is giving us an opportunity to now go inward and just, see where we're at, in our journey, and to continue to be gentle. It's also the year of the rabbits, right? So I'm just coming in with the little fun facts. She gave you all the gems that you need to hear already, right? So I'm coming in with all the little like things that we or all like associated or we might be familiar with. So even the year of the rabbit, it's that playfulness, it's that gentleness, it's coming back to the mother and just having fun, come back to that innocence of the child and being soft and being gentle and being patient. That's a very powerful thing that I want to talk about too as we're here speaking, is talking about patience. Patience is a virtue. And I feel like sometimes on this journey, we're expecting things to happen so fast. And if we come back to the very ways of nature, you see right now, as Christine said, everything is dying, right? There's no fruits on the trees right now. We're going through a drought when it comes to certain things and a real debt that's preparing for the great rebirth. So we must realize the importance of being patient with yourself, being patient on the journey, being patient with everything. The same way like how we plant a seed, right? A seed is not going to just bear fruit tomorrow. It's not going to just pop up. You have to be able to be in that darkness and dwell in that darkness and understand that, it's a journey, it's a process. You got to be patient with that process. My grandmother used to always say that patience is a virtue.
I mean, it only took you 9 months to get here.
Exactly.
So
right?
that in itself was a journey, and that is, truly the power of the seasons, the cycles, and knowing everything has its time.
Everything has its time, right?
And now this time that we're in, right? It's okay for you to rest. It's okay for you to slow down. It's okay for you to pause and really go inward and take a look at, okay, what were the lessons that I learned this past year? What were the ways in which I was in alignment with who I truly am? And in what ways was I not? And how can I take these lessons and what my reality was teaching me and really incubate an environment for what seeds I want to see grow in the true new year, in the springtime, in the seasons where things do grow? How do I prepare my soil at this time to plant good seeds? Because you could plant all kinds of seeds, but if it's not planted in good soil, in a good environment, it will become rotten. So this really is a time to take a look, take a fine scope, even practicing the power of solitude, right? It's been a great time for us to gather with our families, with our friends, with our loved ones. This is what we've seen in this season, but it is also super important for you to have that time to spend with yourself in order to take a true analysis of where you are, where you've been, and where you're going.
And when you think about the number 7, and as you're speaking about that, you're in the womb space. You're talking about just that cultivation. I'm thinking about the crown. The crown came up to me where 7, because there's many things when it comes to 7, right? 7 what?
Seven chakras, 7 days of the week,
7 days of the week,
7 wonders of the world,
7 wonders of the world. A lot of sevens, right?
7 heaven,
7 heaven. Right?
You ever played that game?
7. No, I haven't played it, but 7 kingdoms, right? And then we talk about the 7th chakra, which is the crown. There's a deep psychological change that's happening to us as an individual and as a collective, right? There's a change that's happening, and we must, see what's happening in our external world. I want to jump to the topic of AI, right? And how, if you are paying attention, you will see that AI, there's a rise in AI, And AI could seem like a type of god. I see many people worshiping AI. If you remember in the Matrix, right, the last Matrix, a guy said that I'm created by. He said like I was raised by machines, right, and that really put me into a deep state of like thinking. But just come back to the point. This is the year where the importance of staying connected to nature and connecting back to your going inward is going to be so important, because the external forces that's going to be working in this time when you're supposed to be just going in solitude, and everything you spoke about is going to be working. It's cause and effect. For every action is opposite reaction, right? That's something that we both know, or at least some of us do know. So in the rise of AI, you'll be seeing a lot of things that's trying to pull you outward. It wants to get you disconnected from your body. You want to get you disconnected from the earth, from source. So you
Your
must
own
be,
true rhythm.
yeah, from your own true rhythm, and keep you in this cycle that is not of nature, right? It's
This
something that is
virtual
artificial.
reality,
Exactly.
right?
It's artificial intelligence. It's not supreme intelligence. It's not coming from the creator. We are supreme intelligence, right? We are an embodiment. We are a reflection of supreme intelligence, and that's the greatest currency we have. But you see that we're getting pulled into all these AI, these lenses, and these images, and these this and that. And AI is going to help you to work better and faster. And you have to really pay attention to see how we're really disconnected. This pulling us further away from God, Goddess, and from the our true nature as
Divine beings.
divine beings.
Right. And to bring that and tie that back into what you were saying about the seven, right? Because 2023 numerology, the numerology of 2023 is a 7 year, which is about spirituality,
Exactly.
right? And so this is truly, we're going to see a lot of people getting deeper into spiritual practices, and we've been seeing it happening, right? In 2022, when the pandemic happened, the world completely slowed down, and people had an opportunity to go inward. And this inward process allowed people to really see the truth about who they are, the truth about their reality. There was a unveiling
Yeah.
that happened, right? But as you can see, we're creatures of habit. Soon as things started to go back into a certain flow, this disconnection occurred very quickly, because it's just been what we've been doing for so long, and it's so deeply,
Programmed.
it's in everything we do now.
Yeah.
I mean, look, we grew up in the generation where we had house phones, right? Our parents grew up in a generation where they didn't have phones, right? They
Exactly.
had to send letters. Then we moved to beepers, right?
Beepers.
And then now we're at the place where this device is on us all the time. So this has become a part of your identity now, and if you're not careful, you can lose yourself. So in this year, it's super important for you to develop a practice with yourself, whether it's a daily meditation practice, a daily mindfulness practice, a daily unplugging, taking time away from this device. Do not become hooked on this. Look, as much as we want you to come and tune into our station, it's also super important that you're tuning into your own channel on a day-to-day basis, and you're making time for that.
I say be careful, right? You got to truly be careful, because it's such a trap, right? Like come back to the AI as well. Is like AI is listening to us. Everything that we talk. Have you ever talk about something and it just pop up?
The
You'd be
ads.
like, yo, like what the hell? Have you ever just mentioned that, hey, or think about something and it's like it's showing up even without even saying it, thinking it? And to me, that always blow my mind. That shows how connected we are, with whatever this intelligence is that is not of the earth or of God. Something is tuned in to us, and that's why we have to right now, go deep within and raise our frequency. We got to raise our vibrations, which come to our body. I think this is a year
Yes.
where we could
Oof.
really come to really honor in our body. Really ask yourself, what is my relationship with my body? Right? I think this is the year that we can really, put that into our New Year resolution. Since many of us have New Year resolutions, that's something that I think should be a very important factor.
The
That
first level of
yeah,
mastery is the body.
body, yeah,
You know, what are you listening to the communication of your body? Did you even know that your body communicates to you? That it lets you know what it needs, what it doesn't need? There is a process called kinesiology, right? It is a process of muscle testing where your body has its own ability to detect what is truth and what is false. And the more you actually develop that relationship with your body, the more that knowing strengthens. There's a book called Power versus Force by Dr. Hawkins, and he goes into a deep process talking about this, right? He starts the book off by asking you if there's a way for you to ask a yes or no question for anything. Would we need judicial systems? Would we need doctors? Would we need, and I'm not knocking any of these things, but I'm
Exactly.
saying this to bring to you the awareness of how intelligent
We are.
this vessel, this temple is. And that's why it's so important to develop a relationship with it, right? Now we're talking about AI. We're going into concepts that are becoming a big part of our reality now, where there's these virtual worlds, the meta
Reality,
worlds, right?
multiverse,
And
metaverse.
right, and if we're being honest, right, take a look at your phone. Go in there and check how many hours a day you spend on your phone.
Yeah.
Okay, now how many hours a day are you spending with your body, with your connection to yourself, to your spirit? So all these things are super important, because as we're moving into a time where these concepts are just, they're merging with us, right? It's super important to recognize where you are consciously
Yeah.
and unconsciously.
Unconsciously. So, like, I want you to really choose, how do you want to interact this season? Inward with nature, or outward with the artificial intelligence that's being shown to you to enhance the program that's already been programmed for eons? Yeah.
Absolutely. And with that being said, if you can't give yourself permission, I just want to give you permission to rest.
Rest.
Because I know that this concept can be taken sometimes as, oh, you're being lazy, or you always need to be doing in order to be productive.
Exactly.
And that is so far from the truth.
Yeah.
Honor your own cycle. Honor where you are in your process. Honor your body. Nourish yourself. Think about what you need to feed yourself. Feed your mind, your body, your spirit, so that you feel truly nourished in this season. Yesterday I was at the spa, and the words that kept coming to me was softness.
Yeah.
Like ease. Just easing into that softness, relaxation, and romanticizing your life. Like really doing the things that nurture you. Don't underestimate the power of solitude either at this time. Make sure that you're making time, whether you're a mother with children, or you have a family, or whatever it is. Make sure that you are taking time to fill your cup,
Exactly.
right? Because you can't pour from an empty cup. And if you pour from an empty cup, by the time comes spring, I don't know if your crops is going to make it, okay?
Yeah. Are you gonna be able to,
Sustain.
to grab those low hanging fruits and those high hanging fruits?
We ain't got to put that in there. You cut that out. That was
Well,
kind of rude.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. We'll cut it. We'll figure out a way to cut it. There's
Yeah.
always ways to cut through things, right? And one thing I want to share too is just remember the law of least effort, right? That birds don't try to fly, fish don't try to swim, trees don't try to grow, right? There's a way how nature operates. And I've emphasized this many times because I wanted to really be stored in your head. The same like how we learned our ABC 1, 2, 3. It wasn't by just one sharing. So if you catch me, like repeating things,
Repeating?
it's because it's through repetition. Because it's through repetition that we can really unlearn and relearn and rewire and put in these new seeds, these new programs. So don't say, hey, why is he? I have to keep reminding you. And as I'm reminding you, I'm reminding myself,
Absolutely.
because it's happening through practice and through repetition, right? So I wanted to share that just to continue to stay connected to your body, which is the greatest technology, right? The body, the mind and body is the greatest technology. We have just somehow lost the manual, and now we're getting an opportunity to, to like connect back to some page. We're getting back to page where we are remembering, right? So there's a lot of remembering that's happening in this time. So for you to remember, you have to rest to allow these spiritual surgeries to even take place. Rest is so important. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, with that being said, we want to leave you with a few tools and tips to assist you as you are navigating this 7 year.
Exactly.
Right? So, some of the tools that I highly recommend that are super powerful are simple daily meditations. Now, I know sometimes this concept trips people up on what they think this is, but you in the shower being present with the water is a meditation. You
Right.
walking, you being still is a meditation.
Exactly.
Whatever it is, take that time to connect with yourself. Listen, to go inward and hear what's going on. That's one. So another tool that I highly recommend is the power of journaling. It truly allows you to get what's inside of you out. You may not even recognize that you have all these things going inside, but once you start writing, it allows you to process. It also allows you to manifest. The power of journaling. And the third tool is get into some kind of movement, right? We've been talking about this body relationship. If you are not spending time with your body daily, you're missing on so much vital information. And your body, see, we are all energy beings, right? And energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be transmuted. Right? And so because there's so many different things that are affecting our energies on a day-to-day basis, it's super important that you have some kind of movement practice, whether you're doing yoga, whether you're doing dance, swimming, running,
exercise,
moving your body. Please, it is so important, and make sure you're moving it daily. That's my 3 tips and tools that I want to leave with you. Oh, and there's one more thing. One other thing that I want to encourage you to do is take a look at your relationship with food. Okay? How can you truly give yourself nourishment this season that supports your entire process? Because we may not even recognize how much food is affecting our mood, the way we're feeling, and our energy, just our energy in general. So, yeah, that's my tips and tools.
Yeah, everything you said, I'm in full resonance with. I think you said like the most important things. For me, I want to remind you to take a pause. That's one of my tips that I'm sharing. Not much a tool, but just taking a pause through breath. Every second, every moment, conversation, things like that, is just being able to take a pause and take a breath and smile. Practice to smile more in this season, something that I'm working on for the past years. Thank God I'm able to smile now. So it's just you see how smile changes everything. It's an inner smile. I don't have to smile on my face, but at least I'm smiling in my heart. So continue to smile and rest, as we spoke about earlier, and everything that she said. I echo that. And with that said, man, just continue to do what you're doing. And if you have any tools that you want to share and tips that you want to share for whoever might comment or read the comments, please feel free to drop some comments and assist us in, getting this video out by liking, sharing, commenting, share it with a friend, share it with a family. It helps us tremendously to grow as we are new YouTubers. And we need the support.
And on that note, we look forward to this year ahead with you, family, to just elevate.
Peace and blessings. See you next week.
Peace.
If you receive any value from this video, please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on post notification to stay updated. Thank you.